What's going on, people? We are here with episode number 14 of Sideline Specialists. We're talking a lot of football, college football, NFL, predictions, previews, reviews, everything this week. So, without further ado, let's hit a random intro song.
Welcome to Sideline Specialists.
That was supposed to go first, but I forgot the order. So, either way, welcome with your normal host, myself, Alex Fishbein, and Tom Deasy. What's going on, Tom?
Not much. We are in that one beautiful week of sports. We got college football. It is returned. And it also made me $700 richer, so love that. And then obviously the NFL's coming up, and I'm literally just staring at the calendar like, please be Thursday night, and then please be Friday night immediately. And then please be like October 20th when we get all four back at the same time.
Oh, hell yeah. That's the sweet spot right there. Playoff baseball, regular season, NFL, college football. College basketball starts a little bit after that. Then you got NBA. Then you got NHL. I mean, even right now, WNBA playoffs are starting soon too. So you got that excitement on top of everything. The fall is just the sports sweet spot every time.
Completely. We're approaching it, everybody.
For my own benefit, there's also women's college volleyball too. So that's even in the fall. Like, there's literally everything.
Cool. Good deal.
But before we get into everything, we do want to take a serious note, and we want to have a moment of silence for the Gaudreau family. Obviously, the devastating news that both Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau both passing away in a really, really devastating accident. So we'd just like to take a quick moment of silence for them. And with that being said, I will hand it to Tom because Tom would like to say something about Gaudreau.
Classy on the ice, classy off the ice. Genuinely big loss, not just for hockey, but for just humanity, to be honest. Always put a lot of work into communities around the teams he was with, and then back home in New Jersey. It's just it is truly sad in a lot of ways. And for Alex and I, it hits a lot closer to home too, because he's literally our age.
Yep.
And you just think about how fleeting life can be sometimes. And obviously he was incredible hockey player. I mean, played 763 games, had 743 points. But it's not even about the hockey. It's a very sad day for sports. And obviously we're late on even talking about it at all, but the sports world did an amazing job, I think, this last week honoring him. I mean, from different baseball teams, everywhere. They were doing little moments of silence in stadiums that had nothing to do with hockey. And seeing pictures outside the Saddle Dome in Calgary, all the things people brought and left there, I teared up pretty hard. So it's tough, but we want to just wish that family the best going forward. I know this has got to be the most brutal thing that imaginable, especially for the parents, and then obviously his wife and kids. It's unreal. But rest in peace to both of them. If there's hockey in heaven, they're going to be winning. So
for sure. Definitely rest in peace, and thoughts and prayers to the family as well. So now to kind of flip gears, we'll talk a little. We will touch on some baseball here as well. Actually, as a matter of fact, let's touch on baseball first. Let's do baseball first,
I think
and
so.
Then we'll get into all the football topics.
Yeah.
So I will bring up some of the standings here, but the main
Cool.
thing we want to talk about is obviously the playoff race.
Yes,
Playoffs
sir.
are right around the corner. We got some division battles going on. Um, so what are you thinking for let's start with the AL.
All right. American League at the moment. I love that. I love that this is the battle that we're having. Before the season, if you had come up to me and told me the Cleveland Guardians will have a legitimate shot at being the number one seed in the American League, I would have told you you are dumber than a pile of bricks. However, that team, a lot of young players stepping up this year, and then obviously Jose Ramirez being and continuous like yearly MVP candidate as always. That team, that team could shock a lot of people. That division is going to have a lot of playoff contributors. So, and it's crazy too. They're about to have the worst team in baseball history, as well as three teams that make the playoffs. So, from that division, it's actually kind of tough to pick because the Royals, their offense has been prolific and they do not actually give up that many runs relative. Like that's why their run diff is plus 91.
Right.
They are on a bit of a losing streak right now, though. They were atop that division for a little bit and have just kind of squandered that right now. They need to definitely find their way back to winning. We go to the AL East. Obviously, the Orioles and Yankees have been flip-flopping all season, and it's been awesome.
I can't wait to watch both of those teams in the playoffs.
Say the Orioles, they want redemption after last year. Texas went in there and bodied them. And obviously Texas did go on to win the World Series. They were that team. It's like same deal every year. A team gets hot and becomes a menace, and they were that. So Houston, yet again, is going to win that division. I'm so goddamn sick of this shit. I want them to suck so bad, and it just isn't happening.
Yep.
Seattle just fell apart. I mean, they for a while they looked like they could maybe stay consistent enough to contend. I know they're only 6 games back, but we don't have a lot of games left, so it would take a lot for Houston to fall off that pedestal.
And their away record is trash.
And that's the story, right? That's literally, you got to be able to win everywhere, and if you can't, it is what it is. And it's a shame too, because I think Seattle deserves playoff baseball more than once every freaking 20-something years.
I like the team too. They're entertaining.
It's the Seattle is in a good spot because they have the pitching. The pitching set, in my opinion. Like they genuinely do not give up runs. They've given up, I think, the fewest runs in the entire American League. Yes, 525. So if they literally can just spend free agency at getting some batters in there, and then just draft right, develop right. I mean, they could be something soon, but they have to do it. They have to do it relatively soon before the pitching leaves. So,
and I will say, from a fantasy perspective, I've liked Seattle. Like, just a personal story. I have both George Kirby and Andres Munoz. So, like, they've been amazing. Andres as a relief pitcher, I mean, 1.92 ERA. He has 19 saves, 6 holds, and 66 strikeouts, like in that time with an under 1 whip. Like he's been a great relief pitcher. And George Kirby, even though he's 10-10, just because the last couple games haven't been like the greatest, I mean, still he has solid numbers throughout this year. And Kirby's not even like a superstar or anything. So solid spot.
George Kirby is the control god. That's what he is.
For sure.
Where he aims, the ball goes. I think the Yankees will get out with the 1 seed. I think Cleveland will be the 2. And then obviously Houston as a division winner will be the default 3. But then I believe it will go Orioles, Royals, Twins, and then that's your 6.
Okay.
And we can go over to the National League now. This is it. I don't want to say cut and dry. but you see the division leads. There is a leader by minimum 5 games in every division. Obviously, the
Yep.
Brewers have the biggest of all of them, 10 games over the Cubbies. At this moment, the Phillies have I mean, they're what, one? They're like a little bit of winning percentage behind the Dodgers, just above
Yeah.
the Brewers, though. And I think it might stay this way. I think the Dodgers being the 1 seed at the beginning of the season would have been everybody's pick.
Right.
And just by default, I think that lineup is genuinely incredible. So I'll make this one a little shorter because it's more cut and dry. The battles aren't as crazy, but Dodgers will be the 1 for sure. Phillies, I think Phillies will be the 2. Brewers will be the 3, and then it's where it gets interesting because you obviously have the Mets and Braves high-fiving each other at 74 wins.
Yep.
But then you go down to that NL West and you realize, oh, okay, if the Padres or D-backs were in the East, they would be second and third. So
Yep.
I think Padres, D-backs both make playoffs.
It's worth noting that Tatis just came back yesterday.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, maybe they could make a late season run to contend for the division too. Who knows? But
Yep.
it'll be interesting. I love when the NL West is actually competitive.
Agreed.
And there's 3 teams right now that really, really want it. And I think the Mets could get past the Braves and sneak into the playoffs that way because the Braves have lost 2 in a row. The Mets score a shit ton more runs. That's a fact no one can dispute. They have 655 to the Braves 589. I mean, it's not close. So if the Mets offense can stay at that sort of pace, we could see them get in as the 6th seed and the Braves have to sit at home, which injuries cause that. That's how sports work. That is a shame. They've won 7 straight division titles. They can have a year off, all right?
Right.
And they had a World Series in there too. And I'll be honest, I cheered for him in that World Series because it was against goddamn Houston. So get him out.
I think everyone was cheering for him in that moment.
Yeah. When Jorge Soler hit that home run out of Minute Maid Park, I literally was just like, that's the get fucked moment right there. He absolutely pimped that ball. But
oh yeah,
I'll say Dodgers 1, Phillies 2, Brewers 3, Padres 4, D-backs 5, Mets 6. That'll be my seeding.
okay.
That's my prediction. I think the Braves do miss it out just because in this kind of end of the year stretch, they're not as consistent as the Mets have been lately. And
Right.
lately's all that matters when you're tied and it's late in the year. So
I will say I think that the Phillies are the only NL East team that are going to make it. I think Padres and Diamondbacks both make it.
oh well, no, but that's what I mean. Is there's 6 total teams, right?
Right.
That make it. So one NL East team would still have a chance to make it then.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. I was thinking not baseball.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I could see the Mets definitely sneaking in there. I think I do lean a little towards the Mets, like you're saying, especially since Spencer Strider's not there.
Yeah. It's just the depth. It's not even like the players that they have aren't good enough. It's like
right.
this end of the year, it's just whoever's going to actually put their head down and want it more. And right now, it looks like the Mets.
Right.
Just at glance. So
it's like but it's that combined with they're also like Austin Riley's also out now.
mm-hmm.
So like they have some key pieces missing out of that. So I can see it.
And
sure.
even like playoff run wise, it's like no Strider, Acuna, or Riley.
Right.
That's a lot of star power to be missing. And I know Azuna's having the best year of his life. Happy for him. Like, that's awesome. Like, bummed that he's a freaking Brave because I do like the guy, but yeah. But yeah, I think that's what we'll look. Once we get closer to playoffs, we'll make like brackets and stuff and have some fun with that. It'll be fun though. There's some battles that really matter, obviously, like in all across baseball. So it'll make this last month spicy.
Oh yeah. So with that being said, we will jump on over to college football week 1 review. And we had some
Yes, sir.
upsets. We
Yes, we
had
did.
I mean, obvious wins and things like that. However, the headline, even though I don't know if is this just the top 20? Yeah, this is just the top 25 right now. But
Yeah.
the headline has to be Florida State.
Yeah.
Like,
So, yeah, to
losing,
lose twice.
losing to Georgia Tech and then follow that up by honestly losing pretty handily to Boston College. That is just insane.
Well, and I have to give credit to Boston College. I have to, because they played a smart game the whole time.
Right.
They got like, I mean, it's crazy too, though. Their running back trio went berserk on Florida State.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I wouldn't even be overthinking this too much if it wasn't for the fact that this was in Florida State. This was in Tuscaloosa.
Yep.
Like, it is the DJ Ukulele moment where you just realize this guy is not good at football. There's a reason he's tried 3 schools, and I mean, he should have stayed in Maryland. I think not Maryland. Where the hell was Clemson? He should have stayed in Clemson.
Yeah.
Dealt with that. He went to Oregon State. He looked okay there. Fair enough. This is not. He went 21 of 42.
Right.
And had a QBR of 27.4. That is, I could do better than that. I'm sorry. That is so bad. That is so bad. But then you look at the Boston College side, they came with a game plan. They stuck to their game plan, got the job done. This conference is going to be really, really fun this year, I think. The ACC looks quite spicy.
Right.
I think BC was overlooked because their running attack is actually no joke at all. NC State is definitely a good school. They obviously had a nice win that I think will probably be somewhere on that screen.
I'm about to share this other tab because this has a better looking scoreboard.
Yep, there they are right there over Western Carolina, 38-21.
Yep. This was back on Thursday. So you had, this is just the ACC. So yeah, Wake Forest wins their cakewalk game. North UNC gets a win over Minnesota. Duke beats Elon.
I totally forgot
Stanford.
The fucking TCU Stanford thing.
Yeah, I forgot Stanford's in the ACC now.
Which is just so funny because Atlantic Coast Conference and they're based in goddamn California.
Exactly.
So that's great.
Georgia beat the brakes off of Clemson,
which I loved. I love that so much. Miami's win was great. I spent all weekend watching these games. Even if I missed it live, I watched the replay on my iPad while I was doing other shit.
Right.
Miami dominated.
Oh, yeah.
To go into where's Florida play? Gainesville?
Yeah.
I mean, they went in there and just said it's ours. The state's ours today. And yeah.
Did you see the clips of Florida had their recruits there right on the field? And after the game, the Miami players were going up to the recruits saying don't go here, come to Miami. Fuck Florida. Miami's the better place. Look what we just did to the team. They were talking so much trash to the recruits. I was if I was a recruit, I'd be like, what do I say to that? I kind of gotta go to Miami now.
Yeah. Well, but this is what Miami football was this is what it was. This is what they were. Everybody forgets. People that were born in 2000 will have no fucking clue how much of an absolute powerhouse school Miami was for a long, long time. I mean, the list of legends that have gone to that school, won national championships. They have 5 as a school. Big deal program. So
they have Hall of Famers.
So many.
A bunch of them.
Yeah, but then you even think of the guys that aren't in the Hall. Clinton Portis, Jeremy Shockey, Vinny Testaverde. There's so many dudes
Lewis McGahee.
Yeah, like all these dudes that literally were great in the NFL for a good amount of time that went there. And but then you look at the Hall, it's like obviously Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, right? Like,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, it's just an insanity. Um, Michael Irvin,
Ridiculous.
Michael fucking Irvin.
Didn't Sean
Uh,
Taylor? Did Sean Taylor go there?
yes, he did.
Yeah.
It literally is just an endless list of people that are just yeah. So this school needs to get back to that. I was very happy to see they were ranked going into the year, and then they showed up. They didn't do that thing that happens to a lot of teams, i.e., Florida State, where the preseason ranking does not match the play on the field. And my favorite game to watch though is on that screen, middle left, Vanderbilt over Virginia Tech.
That
What a
was surprising.
game! Did you see
That
any of that? Because that game went. That game was wild.
I caught some highlights, but I did not actually watch the game. But that was not that Virginia Tech was supposed to be like amazing because they weren't ranked or anything. I
Yeah.
don't think I don't think they were even that high on like the preseason ACC rankings or anything.
No.
But it was definitely surprising to see because when you think of Vanderbilt, you don't really think of football.
You think of basketball. If you're going to think
Yeah,
of anything first, I'd say you think of basketball.
exactly.
And it was just like, here's why the game was wild though, because it literally, at one point, it was 17-0 Vandy.
Yeah,
And then it was 17-3 going into half. And you're like, all right, that's a 14-point lead. We're feeling good. And
right.
then it was 20-17 Virginia Tech. And you're like, oh no, they're going to choke this away. They don't get to overtime, step up, get a nice big win. Yeah, I mean, it was a very fun game to watch. I do think, I don't even know if I want to say that too much. Yeah, Virginia Tech's passing game was definitely better. I mean, they had 132 more yards, but their run game was absolutely non-existent, and I have to give that all that credit to Vanderbilt's defense. I mean, they had a guy with 16 carries for 19 yards, bro. That's tough. And I was that was
Barely more than
that was the
one
Q
a carry.
fair. That was the QB, but like you didn't gain on anything. And then their number one running back had only 9 carries for 34. So you're like that they just didn't have it.
Right.
Whereas Vandy had 48 carries for 181 yards. It's only a 4-yard average, but it's a hell of a lot better. And that's where they got 2 of their touchdowns. Awesome game. Love that for college football too, because Vanderbilt, it's been a long time since they've like been able to win some games.
Right.
And I need to see if I'm right on this, but let me their last NFL player drafted might have actually been Jordan Matthews to the Eagles.
And isn't he a tight end now?
Yes, which I'm super happy for him that he still gets a shot
Yeah.
because I like him. Let me go ahead and see. No, we had a
Super Bowl
couple.
champion Jordan Matthews.
We had a couple, but ooh, that's a good player. Sick. No, we got some good ones. Ignore what I just said. We got some nice players from there. Check this out. Oren Burks, the linebacker for the Packers, Vanderbilt. Keyshawn Vaughn, running back for the Buccaneers.
Right.
Their last one was 2021 though, so it's been a minute.
Yeah, true.
Second rounder to the Colts though. Odeyingbo. But yeah.
Okay.
But I think Jordan of these guys in the last like 11 years, I'll say Jordan Matthews had probably he's definitely had the most long-lasting career. The fact he's still around since 2014, and then I didn't know Casey Hayward went to Vanderbilt.
Oh, I actually didn't know that either.
2012. He's a very good player, so that's cool.
Okay.
Holy shit, Jay Cutler.
He went to Vanderbilt?
Yes, he did. I just saw his name at the top.
I did not know he went to Vanderbilt, to be honest.
Holy shit. Vandy legend, Jay Cutler. How you doing?
Oh, wow. That's good. That's good to remember because that's a trivia question right there.
That is a really good trivia question. Oh, I love that. Oh, shit. That's probably the last time they were actually really competitive because obviously he was probably a unit in college, to be fair.
Oh, probably. I would assume so. But in terms of college football, I other than like some of the bigger games like the Georgia game and then the Florida State losing and all of that, I obviously watched Pitt as every alma mater does.
Yeah.
Um, or alumni, I should say, not alma mater. Um, and I gotta say, even though it was Kent State, like I really liked what I saw out of the team. There was some people bitching and complaining about like, oh, they struggled against a MAC team. I saw people actually commenting that. I'm like, A, they won by 31 points. If that's struggling, I'm not sure what doing well means then.
Well, and the other thing I had to think of, sorry, is they were down their starting running back.
Yes.
He was
And
ineligible week
he's a
1.
senior and he is like he Rodney Hammond is fucking amazing.
Yeah. But that's where I'm looking at it. I'm like, all right, I know it's Kent State. It's like a tune-up game, but every single year in college football is like this. And we
Right.
know that. Like these week 1 and 2s, the smaller schools get in there. Like and it's good for those programs. They get some money for this. So that's
Oh
good.
yeah.
But then I look at Pitt in their conference. They're going to get their starting running back and they're coming off 55 points.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, every team's different that they're going to face, but that's a good start for confidence sake. And obviously, you being a Pitt alum, like that got to feel good. So,
Oh yeah. And to be fair to Pitt's defense, one of the touchdowns came from a botched punt return, which Kent State returned for a touchdown. So that's not on the defense right there. And the one of the other scores just came from a mistake that freshman quarterback Eli Holstein made. And like it's like two mistakes and there's 14 points, which all right, everyone's gonna make mistakes at some point, but first game of the year, you make a couple mistakes. Otherwise, it's 55-10. So like
yeah,
I wasn't like I was pretty encouraged, especially going into this. Almost everyone was like, "Oh, Yarnell, whatever. He's going to be the starting quarterback." He was solid, like he was decent. And then it was like a week before the first game, all of a sudden it was like Eli Holstein starting quarterback, and everyone was like, "Wait, what?" And he went out there as a true freshman, or is he a true freshman or is he redshirt? He
I
might be redshirt. But
I could
either
check if you
way,
want to just keep going.
oh, he transferred from Alabama.
Oh, was
Um,
he okay? So
mm,
he was obviously behind people there.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
think he redshirted in Alabama and then he transferred to Pitt. So
Okay.
as a redshirt freshman, very first game, he threw 30 for 40 for 336 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception.
Beast.
I'm fine with that.
Well, and I look at like, and here's the crazy part too, right? If you think about it, like, um, their run stats in this game. They had Desmond Reed 14 carries, 145 yards,
Yeah,
and he's not even the starter. Like he's not, he wasn't the, you know what I mean? So that duo now when starter's back, good lord. Like their
yeah,
offense clearly seems good. Obviously, Holstein probably left Bama to be real because Saban was out, and that's totally fair,
right.
um, completely fair. And then obviously he picks a school like Pitt, which in their conference could be very, very, very competitive. Um, and that's why I'm thinking the ACC might be the most fun conference to watch this year because there's some teams. There's plenty of teams in there right now that could, like Miami's good. If Pitt's good, that's great. Obviously, Clemson is a school that's always around, but I'd love to see them get beat on constantly. That
Right.
would make my year. I like SMU. I
Georgia
mean,
Tech's
it's
been solid.
yeah. You got 2-0 SMU, 2-0 Georgia Tech. I mean, yeah. This is going to be a fun conference. I always love watching ACC football. Anyway,
Yeah,
um, all
ACC
the
is always fun.
it's the most colorful conference in college football.
True.
The
Oh,
the
and NC State.
range, yeah, and yeah, NC State came in ranked, which is awesome. Um,
Yep.
the one team I was going to bring up that I think could be seriously good is UCF. I think UCF has a chance to be
Oh, UCF. Okay.
scary. So Obviously, a tune-up game against New Hampshire. They scored 57 goddamn points, and none of those were in the fourth. They just decided to stop. They could have probably put up like 85. Um, they went kind of nuts. So they had 454 rushing yards in this game. 454. That is the most stupid number. Like, all right. They had 54 carries. 2 guys had 11. 3 guys had 7. 1 guy had 8. That's how many people ran the damn ball in this game. The top guy with 11 averaged 13 yards a carry for 142 yards, basically. Second guy, 11.6 yards per carry. They had 5 rushing touchdowns. And then, like, quarterback-wise, 2 guys threw some passes. They were combined 11 for 22, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Obviously, QB rating, not super amazing, but if you have a run game like that, who gives a singular F, right?
Yeah.
And then I go ahead and I look at the Big 12, and I'm kind of like, okay, so Texas and Oklahoma aren't here anymore. They're in the SEC. So now your biggest competitors in this, because obviously Arizona State joined the Big 12, BYU did, Colorado did. Colorado, I think, is going to get steamrolled. They're going to fall off a cliff again, and it's fine.
Probably.
Best teams in this conference, at a glance, I mean, I have to put UCF up there. Utah's never a bad program. TCU, we'll see about quarterback play. Kansas has been good recently. Like, this is another one that's going to be pretty fun and competitive. I like this mix of teams, but just that kind of rushing. I haven't seen a game. I watched that game, dude. Every time a running back got handed that ball, it looked good, genuinely good. And they play. Their first real test is 11 days from now. They'll play TCU in TCU. And then it's a run of teams that actually, like, will put up some fight. Obviously, Colorado, Florida, Cincinnati, Iowa State, BYU, ranked Arizona. Arizona's 21 right now.
61-39 over New Mexico.
Yep, they're a good team. And then Arizona State, West Virginia, and their finale is I think their toughest opponent is Utah, who's 12th right now.
They just had a shutout over Southern Utah too.
But I want to see UCF be good again, because obviously it's been a minute since they had Bortles.
True.
And it would just be fun. I want to see these different schools put up some numbers. And in the Big 12, if they do go undefeated, imagine they did that, they could easily get a playoff spot with this new expanded thing. That's a big conference. Like, I mean, I would love to see that. I don't want to see the same bullshit every freaking year.
Yeah, it's nice seeing new teams do well.
Exactly. Every single time.
Yeah.
But good
and by the way, I just wanted to share this right before we leave the college football. This was the quarterback play from Pitt all of last season.
That's pretty rough. That's really rough, to be honest. Yarnell, obviously, with the best completion percentage by quite a significant margin there.
Which is part of the reason. Which is part of the reason why everyone assumed he was going to be the starter this year. And like they finally started him near the end of last season, and he started doing well, and Pitt's offense finally looked a little more respectable. But like, you're telling me Eli Holstein came in here and did 300 some yards, 30 for 40, 3 touchdowns, and like that was half of what Jerkovich got in 6 games.
But that's
almost
what I mean,
half
too.
of what Christian Velo got in 7 games.
Like, I look at Pitt, right, and I'm like, it was this guy coming in it makes perfect sense that he should be starting, in my opinion. Like, he had a year under Nick Saban in Alabama. I don't care that he wasn't, like, maybe he was recruited at the end and they just said, hey, red shirt on. You know what I mean? Like, something simple like that. But
right.
The fact that he was even on Alabama's team. That's what I mean. That the pedigree of that program we know. So
Right.
him at
Yeah.
Pitt now, and I'm good on the coaches. Good on the coaches saying, "Hey, you won this job off of how you played," and then they do this, and I'm looking forward to it. Cincinnati got a win. That's another one. But
Pitt
yeah,
plays Cincinnati next, so
that's a big
that's gonna be
test.
their first test for
Yeah,
sure.
that's a big test. So
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this week one. The another big surprise for me, just to throw it out there real fast, was Iowa having an offense.
Oh yeah,
I
that's true.
I will put up some points, and good win for them. Yeah. Holy.
Um,
Oh, Texas Tech might be fake. Did you see that score? Abilene Christian
yeah, they almost
took
lost that one.
took them to OT in their own house. That's crazy.
I will say some games I'm looking forward to next week, other than obviously watching Pitt again.
Yeah,
NC State versus Tennessee, 24 versus 15.
that should
That sh-
be
that should be a solid one.
that'll be
Um,
the are you real or not moment for NC State.
yes,
SMU
yes,
BYU on
yes.
Friday.
I was literally just about to say that too. That's
That's a good one.
another solid one that I'm looking at. Also Texas Michigan.
That's massive.
That's
Well,
going to be a very big one.
yeah. Well, because I look at that game too, and it's like it's obviously a rematch from last year,
Right.
or would have been. Well, there was two teams in the college football playoff, not a rematch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Washington played Texas is how I should word that. So Michigan obviously no longer under Harbaugh. Will they be as competitive as they've been for a while? Obviously, good week one.
Yep.
Nothing crazy though. Like I didn't see that score didn't jump off to me. So, um, but it's in Michigan, so that's part of why I think this should be a nice, like a solid matchup. Um, the one game I have to mention because I'm extremely proud of my boys.
Uh-huh.
USC beating LSU in Vegas as a
Oh yeah.
dog. Fuck yes. They get Utah State next week because they are a member of the Big Ten now, which is hilarious.
Um,
Genuinely hilarious to me,
I
but here we are.
true, true. I will say, even though this game on paper should be a blowout, I am interested in Oregon versus Boise State.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I agree.
week one, Ashton Jeanty, 20 attempts, 267 yards, 6 rushing touchdowns.
No, he was easily the and you know what? Here's the thing we can do every week. We can name a player of the week.
Oh yeah,
Easily him, and it's not close. Like nobody's
definitely.
performance. I mean, that's like a performance of the year kind of performance. I don't care who it's against. 6 fucking touchdowns, that many yards. Like it looks like QB numbers, and it was a running back. Um,
Yeah.
Obviously, your Pitt Cincinnati looks great. Georgia Tech Syracuse, both undefeated conference game. That should be fun. I'm just gonna breeze through this. Notre Dame should absolutely destroy Northern Illinois, so we're not going to worry about that. Ooh, Iowa State. All right.
That should be a solid
I
one.
I absolutely love when the Cyclones play the Hawkeyes. That should be awesome. Kentucky, South Carolina. There's some fun ones, like rivalries within conference already. Michigan State, Maryland, that's a conference game that matters.
Yep.
Let's see. Let's see if there's oh, I have an upset alert that I'm gonna bet on too. I'm gonna bet on it because
Okay.
Marshall is going to beat Virginia Tech.
Oh.
Period.
Okay.
Period.
I
They're
like
gonna
that.
beat them.
I like that.
And the reason I'm saying that is because they are putting Virginia Tech as a 19.5 point favorite, which I think is a fucking joke.
Oh
Um,
wow.
Marshall's running game is very good. Their QB didn't he only connected for 7 passes, but he had 141 yards. So when he does connect, his receivers do get downfield.
I was gonna say on just 7 completions.
Yep. 7 of 11, so it's not like it's horrible. He didn't throw like
Right.
20 incompletions. So like, yeah, they had one receiver, 4 catches for a hundo and a touchdown. So
Right.
yeah, that'll be my upset alert pick for the week.
Just for local football purposes, Temple versus Navy is a fun one.
Yep.
Not that Temple's really that great, but
They're kind of abysmal and it's really sad. But
yeah.
let's see. Is there anything else that jumps out? I'm looking through all the matchups, not just like the top 25, because obviously
Yeah.
there's always some games that kind of Washington State, Texas Tech, because I think, and it's in Washington State too, so I think they should win that, actually, to be honest. Oregon State, San Diego State, that should be just fun football to watch. We're not even saying like, oh, this matters for the college football playoff or like the whole
Right.
landscape. It's just like, we love football, and these games do offer a sense of competitiveness that we would enjoy watching.
Exactly.
And yeah, this
Um,
is looking pretty good.
yeah.
Looking
Definitely
like a
a
good
good
week.
start to the season for sure.
Yeah. Well,
So
and the conference realignment, although it seems like so strange, it offers something new now. Like, so many teams are going to
true.
be playing each other that haven't in like for long stretches. And especially the Big Ten for me. I grew up in PA. I've always cheered for Penn State, and then I always cheered for USC, and now they're in the same conference, which really means I'll get to see USC more now on TV,
That's true.
which is fantastic. But yeah, looking good. College football did not disappoint my bank account or my eyes, and I will definitely be trying to hit again this week. I'll put Marshall in a parlay. I'm doing it. They'll be the
Might as
team
well.
that makes or breaks me, because I see that matchup. I'm like, that looks tasty.
I know.
So
I agree.
the Thundering
But
Herd is coming, bro.
with that being said, let's jump across and finally give our NFL award predictions. We'll make this one pretty quick
Yeah.
because we're only going to do the main awards. We're not going all the way down to like fucking the Bud Light easy to celebrate moment of the year.
Yeah, fuck that
Um,
shit.
Yeah, we're just going to do MVP, coach, offensive, defensive player of the year, and we can do offensive, defensive rookie of the year. But we're gonna keep this pretty quick so we don't like have to rush our weekly predictions either. And let me just for the people watching on YouTube, I'm gonna bring up last year's winners just so we have a refresher. We'll just start with MVP because it's the top of the list. Last year, Lamar Jackson won his second MVP. That was highly debated with a couple of other players. You could have argued Tyreek, you could have argued a couple others, but Lamar ended up winning that one. So, who do you have winning MVP this season?
CJ Stroud.
Oh,
And
okay.
I will lock that in right now. I think
Okay.
to be a rookie that looked so poised throughout that entire season, it was game
Right.
1 to games like 17, and then the playoffs, to get a win in your first year. Like, it just literally, he was so NFL ready always. His maturity and everything, his willingness to always keep learning, and you can see that in any of the media he's a part of. And then they loaded that offense for him. Like, you lose Noah Brown, obviously they just literally they couldn't keep everybody. But to be realistic, he was going to be number 3, and he kind of got bumped.
Right.
I mean, that team is so effing loaded. I'll look at their depth chart. I mean, he's going to have Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and Stephon Diggs as his 1, 2, and 3, followed by John Mechie, who's still there, made the team officially. They could still consider trading him if the right offer comes. But after that, you have Xavier Hutchinson, Robert Woods, Steven Sims. I mean, you're sitting pretty. Running game, Joe Mixon, Damian Pierce, and then even Agumbawale and Cam Akers. Cam Akers is the 4th stringer. Cam Akers is a good football player. Like, he's a really good football player. Obviously injuries, which sucks. But tight end, they're good. Their O-line's good. Yeah, I think CJ Stroud's my shoe-in, given the health of the team. If I had, I'll always say Lamar will compete for it because he's just incredible.
For
Um,
sure. I think there's like 3 or 4 guys that are always going to be in the mix as long as they're healthy, and it's like Lamar, Mahomes, and even Josh
Hurts,
Allen.
and I would
Hurts
say
too.
Hurts. Like I would
Yeah.
say Hurts over Allen now, given what their offenses are. Like
True, true.
just the personnel, not even like who they are as a player. Because
Right.
obviously you could be the best player in the world if you have dog shit around you. It's not actually going to matter.
That's true.
Um, and that yeah, I'll agree with that. Um,
My MVP pick, I wanted to go a little crazy with MVP just because I wanted some new blood in there. I'm going with Kyler Murray.
okay,
Now, obviously a big risk because he's
yeah,
been pretty banged up the last couple seasons.
yep,
And obviously last season they were 4-13, but he came back for the final 8 games. In those 8 games the team was 3-5. So,
yeah,
out of the 4 games that the team won, he was there for 3 of them. But you upgrade some of the weapons. Marvin Harrison Jr. is there. Michael Wilson's there. You got Greg Dortch
Chris
as the
Moore off
slot.
the bench is good too. By the way,
Yes. Oh yeah. You now also, based off of last season, found one of the better tight ends in the entire league.
absolutely,
James Conner still trucking. I mean,
yeah.
James Conner in 13 games last year had 1,040 yards and 7 touchdowns on the ground.
And then you draft Trey Benson,
Exactly.
who is a unit of a play, great, like genuine for where they got him and what they have. Great fit.
Exactly. And I just overall, I just like the look of this team. The defense is obviously going to be to me at least, is the biggest question mark of it all. I think
Yeah,
the offense will be able to produce points, but the defense is going to be the one. I mean, they were terrible last year, so that's going to
yeah.
be something that you're going to have to kind of figure out. However, yeah, if they have a good enough record to at least almost make the playoffs, I think Kyler Murray can be in that conversation for MVP.
I I see. It's funny because you say his name and it should be crazy, but I don't. I agree with you. I don't think it really is that much. I think we've never actually gotten to see what his potential is at all,
Yeah.
ever. Like they've had one of the worst O lines in the NFL since they drafted him. They finally
Yep.
began addressing it in 23 when they drafted Paris Johnson Jr. According to Kyler Murray's request, that's who he wanted.
Right.
Um, and it was a good pick. It wasn't like he was going out of the way to screw the franchise. Like it's a great pick, and he looks good. And I mean, I'm looking at our lads like the depth chart. All 4 of the other fucking linemen are free agents that they signed. Like they
Yeah.
literally understand that if they want to see what Kyler is, they actually have to give him an offense and time.
Exactly.
So you take the consensus best receiver in a draft in a while, like, and it was consensus, and that's the key word because obviously Justin Jefferson went way later than he did. People
Right.
went ahead of him. Same with CeeDee Lamb when those guys should have clearly been their number ones in their drafts. Um, I I I agree with you. It literally all depends on the record. Like if you can score a ton, that's awesome. But obviously, a shootout is only fun if you win, and they probably will have a handful of those this year because that defense should not actually be good. I mean,
Oh yeah.
even now it shouldn't be good. I get they signed some guys, but those guys weren't like the best where they came from either. So
Right.
they're
And it's
still going to
like
be rough. So
in the 2 seasons where the blocking got a little bit better and Kyler stayed healthy. 2020, he had a QB record of 8-8. In 2021, 9-5. And like his rookie season, he led the league in um how many times he was sacked, which was 48 times. The next 2 seasons was 27 and 31, and he made the Pro Bowl in both. almost 4,000 yards in his second year with 26 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. And on top of that, I think a lot of people do tend to forget he has a solid rushing ability. That
Oh
second
yeah,
year in the league, 819 yards on the ground with 11 rushing touchdowns.
yeah.
So he has the wheels.
He's very
And
elusive. His
yeah,
change of direction's good. I mean, he's the reason. Like I always compare him to Hurts, just faster. Like he's
right.
whereas Hurts has the like strength. That's what makes him a runner. Is he wants to kind of take hits and be physical. Kyler has the ability to avoid hits for extra yards. He's
Yep.
nimble in that way. So I like that's a fun pick. That is a fun pick. I like that because it's not so otherworldly of a thought either. Um, yeah, cool. I'm in.
Yeah. So coach of the year, I'm just going to throw mine out there and then we'll get to yours right away.
Yeah.
I'm going with my boy that I wish stayed with the Ravens. I'm going with McDonald
Okay.
over in Seattle.
Yep. Okay. That's fair. Um, oh boy. Let me see. What is his name? It's tough because coach of the year kind of implies they win a lot, right? Is kind of the
Right. Or
deal.
at least they outperform expectations. That's kind of how I see
I'll
it.
go Brian Callahan then, Titans new head coach.
Okay.
Um, former offensive coordinator of the Bengals. He'll bring that knowledge he had with obviously all those weapons and teams the last few years down to Tennessee. Obviously, they need to figure out who the hell their quarterback's going to be, but I think it would just be fun, and it'll make the Titans look different too, which is good. Their division's
Right.
going to be a goddamn nightmare for them at the moment, though. But if they can perform better than what I think they're expected to be dead last in that, that would obviously be quite impressive. So
True.
yeah, I'll go Brian
Yeah.
Callahan. That's
I think both are solid picks.
yeah,
Comeback player of the year.
Joe Burrow.
Okay.
Joe
I was
Burrow.
mine's gonna be Nick Chubb.
Okay, so yeah, that's fair. Same division. I could yeah,
Yeah,
I could see it. I could see it. Both same deal. Best
exactly.
arguably best player on their respective teams. I think Chubb clearly is, maybe barring Myles Garrett, and then, um, yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. I'm all for either one of
If
those.
if Joe Barrow is getting comeback player of the year, then yeah, the Bengals are going to be a force to be reckoned with because
At
we
receiver, they
see
still are too.
right,
So
and we have seen what the Bengals can do when Burrow is on top of his game. So it's like, yeah,
yeah,
I definitely see that too.
like you have
Um,
Jamar Chase. Obviously, his injury thing is still up in the air. Um,
right.
T Higgins is back. I hope they can actually work out a real contract for him this year. And then you get Jermaine Burton, who has looked really great in preseason camp. Everything he'll be the number 3 because Trent Irwin, as we have agreed on this podcast before, sucks. We got to get him out. So
Right.
um, yeah,
So
I'm all for both of those though, because if Nick Chubb plays a full season, we know his numbers are going to be ridiculous because he's unstoppable.
oh yeah. Even if he comes back like halfway through the season and just destroys for half the season, I'd be
Yeah,
like,
if he comes
I'd vote
back
for
week
him.
5, he will hit 1,000 yards plus easily. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
he's a absolute animal. Best running back in the world when he's healthy. So
Exactly. Offensive player of the year. I have Tyreek Hill.
okay, I will go. Oh, let me think through all the. You know what? Let me think through all the receivers in my head real fast because I think it's tough because it's like you. Justin Jefferson is who he is, but the quarterback situation changed. Jamar
Exactly.
Chase is who he is, but we don't know when he's going to start playing. Um,
Yep.
you know what? I'll do a fun one on this. I'll do a fun one. If
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers plays the full season, I'll pick Garrett Wilson.
Oh, okay.
I'll say Garrett Wilson because I
He
think he
definitely
is,
has the talent to be able to.
and that's what I mean. It's like we've seen him show us plenty with Zach Wilson at QB, and I mean that says a lot because Zach Wilson is hot cheeks. So Yeah, I'll just do the fun one. I'll say Garrett Wilson because you know what? Let's have a new guy like step up to the forefront, get his name out there, really in that conversation. Because I can't necessarily I can't. The Chargers don't have anybody really anymore that would do it. Um, I'm not picking Ayuk or Debo because they don't. The target share isn't there for them
Right.
because they have so many guys that can genuinely receive the ball that one guy isn't going to like stand out in my opinion, which is why that whole Ayuk situation was just so funny to watch.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, I'll stick with Garrett Wilson. I think that's fair.
Okay. Defensive player of the year. Who you got?
Oh, TJ Watt.
We are in agreement.
Yeah, if
That
he comes back, plays healthy the whole year, I think he is actually just the best defensive player in the NFL right now.
I still think he should have won it last year. No
Yeah,
disrespect to Miles Garrett, but TJ Watt to me, I just thought disrupted literally everything all the
yeah.
time.
You could see
So,
the difference. Like he didn't play in the playoff game,
yep,
or he didn't play in the end of the season, and they literally looked in disarray. But
yeah.
when he's there, they just he is. I mean, Miles Garrett is also one of those like top three ish scariest players to go up
Oh, for
against.
sure.
But
Yeah,
TJ, it just seemed he's so special,
yep,
and the success of the Steelers defense literally relies on him being on the field. Um,
yeah.
and I think I'm glad we're in agreement on that because he is genuinely a special player.
I think it's pretty criminal that he only has one defensive player of the year after finishing in the top 3 of the voting 4 separate seasons.
Yeah, I'm
That's
glad he did
insane.
actually get one though, and he's not one of
Oh,
those
yeah.
guys that's going to get snubbed every. You know what I mean?
And
He
if
can
he
put
if he didn't win that year, I'd, like, throw the whole system away with
it
22 and a half sacks.
exactly, exactly. Uh,
But, yeah, I can especially so since Aaron Donald retired, it's him, Myles Garrett, and Micah Parsons. Like, those are the 3
yeah.
freaks.
Until we have somebody new step up and show us something. Those are
Right.
the three that we do kind of anticipate will be fighting for that. Um,
Exactly.
which is totally, I think everybody would be in agreement. It's totally fair.
Yeah.
Rookie of the year,
Offensive
offensive. Yep.
rookie of the year.
Hmm.
I'm going Jaden Daniels.
Okay. Yeah, I could. Yeah, I'm gonna
Just
go
just
non
just the
QB.
two-way ability.
I'm gonna go non QB just to have another option.
Okay.
Because I think he's gonna. I think he has an opportunity to have some insane numbers as a rookie. Lad McConkey
Oh, I thought
in
you were
that
gonna say Marvin Harrison, but Lad McConkey, okay.
in that Chargers offense where Josh Palmer hasn't proven shit, Quentin Johnson hasn't proven shit other than his hands suck. Lad McConkey's going to come in there, and I think Herbert and him are going to build a rapport real fast, where he can be the
Okay.
guy that's relied on to catch the tough shit. And Herbert has had like a 5,000 yard season before, so
True.
he loves throwing that ball.
A lot of people
I
underrate Herbert just because of
oh
like a bad year or two.
they look past him all the damn time, and what they need to realize is that when Mike Williams or Keenan Allen was hurt, they didn't have anybody like even close to that level that could
Right.
come in there and help that team win. And their defense still has some incredibly good players. Like Khalil Mack is an absolute animal. Joey Bosa. They have Asante Samuel Jr. I mean, like
Right.
the team has plenty of guys, and then on offense, obviously you get your starting right tackle, you get your starting slot receiver in the draft. You bring in DJ Chark, so you at least are able to then bench Quentin Johnson. Thank God for Herbert's sanity. And then Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins. So you have a little duo there. You draft a running back to be your third string. You sign Jerry Rice's kid.
Right.
He makes the team. That's really cool. Yeah, the Chargers are like one of those sleeper teams where if these guys actually mesh well, they should win some games. And then I just think Ladd McConkey is going to find himself in a really, really good position to actually be like the number one, even though he's coming out of the slot.
Right.
It's like a Chris Carter deal. You know what I mean? Like he's just going to get the targets because he's going to get open because he's so agile, nimble, quick on his feet. I mean, yeah, I'll go him because I think that would be just fun. Obviously, a receiver winning it is really tough, but
Right.
he's going to get enough targets, I think, that he has a shot. So
It would also just be fun because he's not the one that everyone continuously talks about all the time. So that would just be fun in and of itself too.
yeah.
Um,
How
but with
about
that being said,
defensive?
yep, defensive rookie of the year. I'm actually going with the same team you just brought up, and I'm going Junior Colson.
Okay.
Because he's going to get playing time pretty much right away. He's got the right situation. And not only is this guy super athletic, but he's playing for the same head coach he played for in college in Jim Harbaugh.
Yep.
So like situation, path to playing, everything, I think it lines up for him.
I am gonna go. I'm gonna do one that makes sense in my. I'm just gonna go Jared Verse.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think same deal. Like situation for him is like Danielle Hunter. Like you know what I mean. Like I think not Danielle Hunter. Like obviously the Rams situation. He's gonna get so many goddamn snaps with Donald gone, and he's gonna be lined up next to a former Florida State teammate, so they can build that immediate chemistry. He has a chance to do some solid stuff out there in LA. And then, because him and Fisk are both listed as starters day one, right. Which is completely understandable. It's a first and second rounder. I think definitely them. And then especially with what you were saying, they traded that linebacker away. Whose name I'm forgetting, but their captain from literally last year.
I'm forgetting his name too.
It's not that memorable of a name, to be fair, but
yeah.
Plus,
Joey Bosa keeps getting hurt. Joey Bosa's the one on the Chargers, right?
Yeah, but this is the Rams.
Oh, right. Oh, I was still thinking Junior Colson from the Chargers.
I know. Well, they're both in the same damn stadium, so it's not even like.
Yeah.
It's not even like your fault.
Ernest Jones.
Oh, Ernest. Okay, it's Ernest something, right?
I think it's
his name,
Ernest
Jones? Okay.
Because he's on my one dynasty fantasy team.
Oh, you have. Oh, see, I'm bummed now. I'm not in that league because you have defensive players.
Ernest Jones, yeah.
That would be really fun.
Yeah, we need to.
Fuck! Hold on. How? Thank you for bringing that up. So, how the hell do I change who's starting on Sleeper?
Click on the position next to their name.
Hold on. All right. Let me open Sleeper and see if.
So you can either do it from the matchup page or your team page.
Okay.
And both ways you just click on the square that has the position in it.
Okay, let me. See, I feel like I don't have the button that you have. Because there's literally like, let me show you this. So like that's what it looks like for me. And I touch wide.
I completely forgot. For our league, it's best ball. So it automatically plays your highest scoring players.
Got it. Okay, cool.
Yep. So you don't even have to move people.
That makes so much more sense because I was literally looking at it like I know I can't because I checked everything. I'm like, all right.
Yeah. No, best ball is easy. It's like once you're done the draft with best ball, it kind of just plays itself.
But yeah, I would love to do another league where we can do defensive players because that'd be lit.
Oh yeah, I can try and find something real quick before the season starts and jump in one and make sure there's like more than one spot available. So I'll check that out.
Cool.
Well, with that being said, we got about like 20 minutes, so let's get in to our week 1 selections, and I will bring up our selection board. Here we go. We'll be keeping a tally of our records throughout the year. So, obviously, for those watching on YouTube, you can see that we're just 0-0 right now because we haven't done anything. So, the very first game of the season, obviously, near and dear to my heart, the Ravens travel to Kansas City, take on the Chiefs. Go ahead. Who you got winning this one? You won't upset me.
Man, it's tough because playing an Arrowhead is one of the hardest places to play. And then the only thing that just sticks in my head is that fucking AFC Championship game last year. Like it but it was so ugly with so many mistakes that I'm like, I really think that they'll make those mistakes again?
Right.
To that degree. I'm going to pick Baltimore because I think Derrick Henry is enough of a difference maker in how that offense will run. And then on top of that, I want to believe that Lamar will start winning these like big games. I really do. And because I know damn well he has the athleticism. Like, I'll put it like this. This would be the best way I could sum it up. If they can get a mesh of top 3 receivers, and I think what we're going to see happen is Bateman is going to get overtaken by their rookie Devontae Walker, the UNC kid.
Right.
So you'll have Zay Flowers, Devontae Walker, and Nelson Aguilar.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, if Mark Andrews can stay on the field, that's huge. Isaiah Likely is a good backup, to be fair.
Right.
The offense has what it needs to be great. They need to put it on the damn field.
Yes.
And then defensively, Nate Wiggins coming in offers you that guy that you can put in for just absolute pure speed. And he will probably see the field a lot in this game because KC does have some speed. So I will pick Baltimore because I think Lamar wants this game too badly.
Right.
After last year to allow himself to lose. So, yeah, I'll go Baltimore.
I want to pick Baltimore. The fan in me and everything wants to pick Baltimore. However, when it comes to the preseason, Baltimore was one of those teams that like really didn't play any of their starters, especially on offense. And I feel as though when it comes to those teams, they almost always show rust in the beginning of the year because they haven't been in actual game-like situations.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I think that it's still a close game and everything, but I am actually going to go with the Chiefs.
Okay.
But I do think the rust shows. Ultimately, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
But I think the rust shows.
Okay. And that's totally fair.
Yeah. So then Friday. I was going
to say, for like a first game of the year, it's pretty insane that we're getting this game. Like,
oh, I know. On like Thursday to start the whole season, this game, that's crazy.
It's like this was the second to last game last year. Welcome back. Here we are. Like, it's just I love it, but like, damn. So.
Right. So with that being said, Friday night game, Eagles taking on Green Bay in Brazil. Which is why this is the only game on here that people can see that it has a verse in between and not someone at another team. Personally, I'm going to go with the Eagles. I think that not only are they going to show some improvement on defense, but I think that their offense is going to just be too much for Green Bay's defense.
Fair enough.
Plain and simple.
Yeah, I mean, I could agree with that. I think Green Bay's defense definitely got better.
Right.
I mean, drafted well, signed Xavier McKinney, signed Preston Smith, drafted Edgerrin Cooper. Like their defense will look a lot better, but the arsenal of weapons that the Eagles are going to field. I know I'm a homer, and but I'm sorry, it doesn't matter. Like even looking at last year, like you remove the Eagles' collapse, they were 10-1.
Right.
And we're beating other teams that could really put up points and everything. So I have to go with Philly just because I think genuinely, even on paper, they're better for sure. On the field, I think as long as Kellen Moore has practiced these guys up in his scheme enough, I agree exactly what you said. Like they should not really be stoppable. Because if you have to put your 1 and 2 on Smith and Brown, who the fuck do you put on Jahan Dotson?
Right.
Because everybody wants to write Dotson off as like a first round bust. His QB situations have never been Jalen Hurts. That's just facts. And the Eagles have been desperate for an over the middle kind of guy to really be here. And this dude is by miles the best that Hurts has had since he got drafted. So yeah,
and not just that, I feel like people are forgetting about Dallas Goedert.
Goddard, yeah, exactly. Everybody forgets about Dallas Goedert on this planet. When that dude is healthy, he's top 5, no question.
Yeah,
he can block, he can run. Like he's a big fucking guy, and his speed is seriously shocking when you see it for the first time. So, I just think O-line is still going to be good. Period. Like it's just I have to go Eagles. And there will be plenty of times, I promise you, throughout this year, we will do this every week. There will be times where I do not pick the Eagles as the winner.
Right.
Because there are some matchups that really look tough. So, but
out
this
of people
one, I just
being
think
homers,
they gotta do it.
you and I are not the two to be homers for just no reason.
No, exactly. Like I will always look through it with logic. I'm a realist. I know plenty of Philly fans are not.
Yeah.
Plenty are literally just delusional, but this is a game I see the Eagles winning because I think they're better on both sides.
Exactly.
And this next one's very interesting.
I was gonna say, with those two games out of the way, those are the ones that we obviously are the most interested in, with those being the teams we like the most. So this next one is Pittsburgh at Atlanta, and I'm gonna go strong with the Falcons here. I think that this team, with a new coach, new scheme, everything, Bijan Robinson is going to be utilized the way he should be utilized. And we have no idea what the hell the Steelers are going to look like, especially because of Russell Wilson and Justin Fields and how that whole thing has played out this preseason. So
I agree.
I'm going the Falcons.
I'm debating here a little bit.
Okay.
All right, I think my debate's over. I think I'm in agreement with you.
Okay.
So you can go ahead and put a Falcons. The one thing I will say, the little percent that has me leaning towards maybe Pittsburgh is just we know what their defense can be.
True.
We know Watt's back. And then I have to just consider Kirk Cousins coming off his worst injury ever, and he's not young. So there could be a little rust there. I know they're playing at home. That's obviously going to help. But that's the only hesitation I have. But I will say Falcons because I do think their offense clearly is significant, way better than Pittsburgh's as it stands. The 1-2 of Drake London and Darnell Mooney is definitely better than George Pickens and Van Jefferson. It just is. I like Pickens. That's fine. But running game, the running game will be maybe more even than it should be. Obviously, I think Bijan is the standalone best runner in this matchup, either team. The versatility that Pittsburgh has, I like too, though. They brought in Cordero from Atlanta, and he does offer a lot of that kind of mixed packages, jack of all trades player. But I think Wilson's going to be riding the bench by week 4. I think Fields is the better. I do think Fields is the better player, and I am a
Yeah.
little surprised that they're going to go with Wilson. I get it. I get he's the vet and everything. I think Fields would do a real. I think Fields has a chance to do really well with Mike Tomlin and actually become a player reminiscent of what he should have been. You know what I mean? So
Right. I agree.
until they put Fields in, and I know this that's like a weird take, but I think they'll struggle to score. And they
For
are
sure.
down Isaac Seumalo at left guard. That's not great. So
That's a good point too. I didn't even think
yeah,
about that, but that's a very good point.
I will go Falcons for sure.
So who do you have for Arizona at Buffalo?
Because of where they are, I'm gonna pick Buffalo. That's the only
Okay.
reason. I could absolutely see Arizona coming in here and putting up points and winning it. I'm just because it's Buffalo and that is a tough ass place to play. I'll pick them.
I'm going Arizona.
Cool.
I think they're gonna come out throwing. I think
Yeah.
especially Jonathan Gannon wants to show that, like, hey, I can coach and I'm not gonna throw up another stinker season.
Well, he needs to, because if he
for
doesn't, he's
sure.
gone. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I think they're gonna come out like really. I think they're gonna come out like irrationally confident at first. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is going to be we're
Well,
gonna have to wait and see. But yeah,
to literally bounce right off that comment, it's like Marvin Harrison Jr. is good enough of a receiver that you can be overconfident when throwing in his direction because he will probably save you from mistakes.
right.
So it's that sort of deal. And then, but then with the Bills, Keon Coleman has looked awesome. So I'm like, this is going to be a game where they're probably going catch for catch here. And
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
I am fucking here for it because
Yeah,
that'll be awesome. But yeah, I think it's another coin flip. It's the same kind of deal with the game before. It's like there's reasons both teams could win. It's
right.
not like a cut and dry. They're you know what I mean? But it is going to be a matter of like, is the Bills defense still good enough to stop people? And is their offense still good enough to beat people? Like,
Right.
whereas Arizona, it's like we know their defense is their weak point, but their offense could be good enough to actually keep scoring. So yeah, that'll be a fun one.
For sure. So Tennessee at Chicago. We're gonna probably go a little bit quicker for these ones just because of
Yeah.
time. But I think
Bears.
okay. All right. I actually was just about to say I think I might actually go Tennessee on this one.
Okay.
Mainly because I liked Ernest Jones, and that is where he ended up. And
Their defense should be, to their credit, their defense has a really, really good chance to be insane.
it's definitely got better.
Everywhere. So I mean, look, we'll hit. I'll bang through these names and we'll go right into the next matchup. And this might actually make me switch because I'm reading these names right now. And their defense is actually stacked. So not only do you draft Tavondre Sweat the second round, you have a starting nose tackle now on defense. You signed Sebastian Joseph Day from the Super Bowl runner-up 49ers. You brought in Kenneth Murray from the Chargers. He has been very reliable for a long time. You get Arden Key. You signed Chidobe Awuzie, who's been the number one in Cincinnati for a while. And then you traded for L'Jarius Sneed, who was the best CB in the entire NFL last year. I am actually going to switch rookie QB if you can put Tennessee in for me.
Okay.
Now that I'm seeing this depth chart, I think it's Caleb Williams' first game. I know he's got weapons to throw to. I think we'll see that the jitters in game one against a team that has a lot of really good veterans on defense. That's the biggest thing is these guys are not going to feel any kind of jitters at all. They've been around all of them for like 5 years, 3 years, whatever. I'll agree with you. I'll agree. Tennessee wins that.
Okay. I feel like we both are in agreement for New England at Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincinnati's going to win that by like 15 plus.
Yeah.
In
Especially
Cincinnati.
in Cincinnati. And New England is deciding to go ahead with Jacoby Brissett. Not that I hate Jacoby Brissett. I like the guy, but
Agreed.
your best shot is having Drake May and giving him experience. So
Um,
Cincinnati it is.
this one I know A-Rich didn't get enough time to show us what he's really all about last year, and he didn't get to play with Jonathan Taylor yet. And because of that, Houston wins this. I think Houston is they're my favorite for that division. I think they come out swinging. That offense is just so disgustingly loaded. I have to just back what I've been saying about them this entire time. So
that's another one that I'm gonna have to agree with you. I don't think the Colts have the firepower, nor do they have the defense to contain Houston.
exactly.
Just flat out. Jacksonville at Miami. This one is only interesting because it depends on which Jacksonville you get. I'm still, with that being said, going to say Miami.
Yeah.
Especially at Miami. They were
that's the biggest thing
down there.
That's the biggest thing, I think, is where this game's being played. Because I'll give Jacksonville this credit. The trio of Gabe Davis, Brian Thomas Jr., and Christian Kirk has a lot of potential, like totally a lot of potential. And you have Devin Duvernay behind that, like to using the four wides. O-line should be a little better, yeah, but I have to assume that their defense is not going to be able to hang with Miami, so I got to go Miami too, for sure.
All right.
I think
one.
Because Trevor Lawrence hasn't shown us enough yet, and I'm like, this is his best chance to do it, but he just hasn't. And
yep.
So I saw this the other day. I think I might have shared it with you. The comparison: Trevor Lawrence and Daniel Jones have like the same numbers in the same amount of games.
Oh yeah, sorry, that
says
insane.
So much. And yeah, I think whether you do or don't like Tua, Miami wins.
That was insane. Okay, so Carolina and New Orleans. Honestly, this game I really don't care much about, but I agree with you.
We'll go right through that one. New Orleans, yeah. Thank you very much. Carolina's not there yet, and it's a shame, but that's where we are.
Exactly. So Minnesota at the Giants. Another one where I'm kind of like, yeah, it's okay, but I'm watching other games.
Well, you know what? I'll say this. I'm very curious to see how Sam Darnold is with weapons. Because he's got some fucking weapons now. And it'll be, I mean, for him, I'm happy for him. He's going to get some time to play again. With, I think, a lot less pressure, to be honest. Because it's like, he came into this thinking he's going to be number 2 when they drafted J.J. McCarthy to be starter.
Right.
I'm going to pick Minnesota purely because I just, and you know what, and the fact that Darnold started on the Jets, he's played in that stadium a million times. He's going to want to perform well there specifically.
Okay.
Because of the past. I know he was a Jet, not a Giant, but like
same thing.
He wants it's just to get revenge in that fucking stadium. And then Minnesota did go kind of nuts signing guys on defense. Like they really did. I know they lost Danielle Hunter, but they reloaded. Dallas Turner, first round pick. Yeah. Their defense should look good. And the Daniel Jones is still Daniel Jones, man. I can't get past it. I really can't.
I am actually going to go Giants. And I am saying that because I think right out of the gate, we're going to get a Malik Neighbors 2+ touchdown, 150+ yard game.
See,
everyone's going to go crazy. That. Everyone's going to go crazy.
Okay.
They're going to be like Neighbors for rookie of the year, Neighbors for this, Neighbors for that, and then they're going to flare out like the Giants usually do, and it's going to die back down. But right out of the gate, I'm thinking it's going to be crazy.
See, I want to believe that for him, but
I do too.
I legitimately cannot get past Daniel Jones and the fact that he's coming off another injury too. Like Daniel Jones was already like not great, and now he's coming off a really, really bad injury. It's like, oh boy, I like can't bring myself to do it.
It's going to be an uphill battle.
And the secondary of the Giants got worse, and they have to go against Addison and Jefferson. So it's just tough. But we finally disagree again.
Yep. But with that being said, your Raiders.
I'm going Raiders.
The Chargers.
I'm going Raiders. I'm going Raiders. I have to. I have to believe they're going to come out just with fucking heat.
Oh, yeah.
Just absolute defensive and like animosity. So, gotta.
We're agreeing again because the Raiders defense versus the Chargers offense, which is pretty much brand new with no fucking receivers other than Ladd McConkey.
It's all question marks. So,
yeah. That's an easy one for me. I'm taking the Raiders.
And everybody keeps disrespecting Gardner Minshew, and they need to shut the fuck up.
He's
not that bad. He's not that bad.
He is good enough.
Like, I'm sorry. Hold on. We can get right in the next matchup. I'm literally going to look up Minshew's stats over his career because I have to just literally, like, point this out. So
he almost got the Colts into a wild card spot.
Literally. Like, 3,305 yards in 13 starts. That's not bad at all.
No.
Give him 4 more starts, he gets 4,000. Like, period. I know the touchdowns weren't crazy, but Michael Pittman missed some time. The Raiders have fucking Devontae goddamn Adams. Like,
exactly. And like, what's the difference between him and Daniel Jones? People were hyping up Daniel Jones before. Like, Gardner Minshew's not, if worse, not much worse.
They signed Jacoby Myers. They drafted Brock Bowers. But like, they have a 1-2 tight end set that's like nuts. To be fair, like, there's no reason that he shouldn't be good enough for this. Like, this is one of the better situations he's had. And even, like, I know with the Eagles, people look at those like, well, he had weapons there. He was a backup that had to get thrown in out of nowhere, which is unfortunate. Like, his overall QB record for his career, granted, is 15-22. That's fine. He was on some of the worst Jags teams we've ever seen, and he still had a 16-5 TD INT ratio in 8 games. That's good.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody hates his mustache, man.
I love his mustache. I love Minshew. Minshew's the man. Denver versus Seattle. I'm taking Seattle just because I think Denver will need a little bit more time to get things together.
Okay. Let me refresh myself quick.
To be fair, I think the offense of Seattle is pretty set. Like, you have all the talent there that you need, and you just got to put it together.
I need to take one surprise for this week, so I'm going to make it this one. I'm going Denver.
Okay.
I think Bo Nix is not going to give a shit that this is his first professional game that counts. I don't think he's going to give a single shit. And that's a stadium to really show up and not give a shit too, because that is a loud place. But I like what he gets to work with. Cortland Sutton is a stud. Josh Reynolds is a good receiver. Marvin Mims finally gets a chance to really not be overshadowed by Jerry Jeudy when he shouldn't have been.
Right.
And then they brought in Troy Franklin also from Oregon as a reliable, just kind of familiarity piece. And Devon Vila has been a rookie that a lot of people are really showing up, get him as a rookie in your dynasty leagues as late pick.
Right.
A lot of these rookies really showed out in camp. The defense will be where they win or lose this. I think Bo Nix will perform enough. And yeah, I mean, it's because it's week 1, and that's the only reason. It's literally we always see these week 1 things happen.
Right.
I'm just going to pick this one as my upset that no one sees coming.
Okay. With that being said, so Dallas at Cleveland.
Dak's throwing 4 picks.
Oh. I actually was going to say Cleveland. Are you saying Cleveland too?
Yes, I am.
All right.
This is one of those situations, right, where you have to look at a balance of an offense in regards to
Right.
their ability to win a football game. Dallas has to throw the ball. I do not care. Like, you have Ezekiel Elliott. Congratulations. There's a reason he couldn't last on New England. Like,
Right.
he's not it. You moved on from him yourselves. You cannot be delusional enough to think that he's the answer to get you back to a running game. He's not.
Mm-hmm.
Your offensive line is worse now. Clearly. I get Tyler Guyton, left tackle. He's a rookie. You cannot truly believe he's going to come in and replace one of the best tackles they've had in their franchise's history. So that's where I'm at. I think, and it's not like Cleveland is a crazy bet. They were 11-6 last year. Like, they're a good football team.
Yes.
Genuinely, it's just the quarterback play has been really hard for their entire franchise's existence. So, like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's just the truth. So it's like, I have to look at this and just think, in Cleveland is the biggest difference for me.
I agree.
That's the part that really just sticks out. And I'm like, they want to win this game because Dallas is a big name opponent.
Yep.
I think they will. I think Cleveland takes it. But it's
Agreed.
a close fucking game. I think it's going to be like 3 points or less. I really do.
Oh, it's definitely gonna be a tight game for sure.
So,
so a quick one for me. I'm going Tampa Bay.
I'm going
Against
Washington. I'm going Washington.
Okay.
I think
Go
Jaden
ahead.
Daniels wants to just make a good impression.
Makes sense.
And to
I'm
be
mainly
fair,
going Tampa
like,
Bay just because it's at Tampa Bay. That's mainly my only
totally-
thing here.
Totally fair. Oh, Matt Stafford back in Detroit. Okay.
Yes. So Detroit, the Rams at Detroit. Who you got?
Detroit.
That is also who I'm taking. No disrespect to the Rams because I like them. I like what they got going on. I think the defense has question marks, but overall, I just really like Detroit. I think Detroit's got it.
I'm gonna pick San Francisco because fuck Aaron Rodgers. Is that easy enough?
That is more than easy enough.
And to be fair, that playing in San Fran is not easy. San Fran still is good as shit. I hate it. Annoys the hell out of me. But this game will be a real showing of Brock Purdy because the Jets do have a very good defense. And to come into week 1, you need to show up ready against the defense like the Jets have. So it'll be a
Agreed.
test, but I think San Fran wins. The home field is definitely enough to get them over. So,
And that is our first week picks. I will post these on the community tab on our YouTube channel, and we can post them anywhere on social. If you follow us, we can drop our socials in the description and everything if you want to follow us on there too. And like I said, we will be tracking this as the season goes on. So we'll keep track of records. We'll show how we did the last week and then predict for the next week. And we'll keep it going like that.
cool.
I
I have one thing I want to do, and I'm going to bring it up on the screen immediately. I think we should
Okay.
do one of these every week too. It's really fast, but they're really fun if you've ever played this before. So it's Immaculate Grid.
I have played these.
I brought this. This is today's, and I figured let's just do this and then close it out.
All right.
So-
So we got Eagles, Patriots. I'm
I was
going.
gonna go Jalen Mills.
Oh, that works. I was going to go LeGarrette Blunt.
That's a good one too, but we'll do Jalen Mills because it's quicker to type.
That's also true.
Uh,
Eagles, Falcons. Matt Collins.
that definitely plays. 100%.
Hell
0.7% guessed.
Hell yeah.
Eagles Hall of Fame. I'll go Harold Carmichael because it's just free.
Yep. Chargers, Patriots. Ooh, Chargers, Patriots. That's a good one.
I'm trying to think through like fucking weapons. There might be a running back.
That's what I was trying to think of, but I know LaDainian Tomlinson didn't play for anyone but the Chargers, right?
Yeah, I play for the Jets
Oh, the Jets. That's right.
in that like 9 and 10 when they made the conference championship both years because he was there.
Right.
That's
Uh,
actually tough. That's actually a tough one.
well, I have one: Steelers, Patriots, Juju.
Yeah. Okay. Here. Well, that's just type in Juju and it should come up. There it is.
Um.
Oh, Steelers fat Cordero Patterson.
Oh yeah.
That counts. What do you mean?
Oh, he didn't actually suit up for a regular season game.
Oh, are you serious? That's bullshit. All right, I'm
I
sorry.
think
That's green in my goddamn head because he
I
fucking
know.
on both teams.
I agree.
I mean, this
Steelers
one's
Hall of
easy.
Fame.
I'm just gonna do Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Chargers Hall of Fame Tomlinson. Is he in the Hall of
yeah.
Fame yet? He should
Let's
be.
Let's find out because he fucking should be. Yeah, he is.
Okay. I was about to say.
Falcons Chargers is an even
Chargers,
more obscure one.
Chargers Falcons. Oh God.
It's literally probably like oh
I feel like there's a tight end.
that's literally where my head went too, but I'm like I don't if like Tony Gonzalez was a Chief and a Falcon. Antonio Gates was always a Charger. Vincent Jackson was a Buck and a Charger. Motherfucker.
Yeah, I don't know.
These are tough, bro. Hold
Damn.
on. All right. Because you got to go, I'll finish this out. And I'm going to see if I can look up players for Patriots.
Yeah, I'll let you finish that up. But thank you, everybody. I'll see you guys next week. You have the end stream button, right?
Bro, I think we missed. Hold on. I do have an end stream button, so it's all good.
All right, I'm gonna jump off then. I gotta get going.
Fair enough.
Let me know the stupid people we missed.
Oh my god, I did have one in my head. I had two in my head. Junior Seau and Rodney Harrison. Both.
Oh, Junior Seau! I forgot about him.
But I had Rodney Harrison in my head because he played 6 and 9. Like he played the most big. Yeah. All
right. I'll see you later.
Have a good one, bro. All right, everybody. Thank you yet again for coming. Please look forward to this every week. We're gonna try and keep this consistent, and we'll do some Immaculate Grids and not suck so much ass in the future. Let me actually, for the sake of my brain not bleeding, I need to look up players for Falcons and Chargers and see if one of these jumps out. Michael Turner. I had these names in my damn head and I didn't want to type it because I didn't want to be wrong, but I should have just trusted my freaking gut, man. Why am I like this? I could picture Rodney Harrison in that damn Chargers uniform. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with us and showing up. Appreciate the subscriptions. Obviously, you can find this on all the streaming services and YouTube itself as you're watching now. And yeah, we love having you. Enjoy the week 1 of the NFL season, and we'll probably see you next Monday instead of Tuesday, as long as our scheduling don't have appointments. That's why he had to leave. He has an appointment. So, yeah. Goodbye for now.